Tale of the Forest Unicorn, 2025, is a gentle, emotionally rich family drama with elements of fantasy that centers on grief healing and the quiet magic of belief. The story follows young Violet, a girl left traumatized and mute after her parents Laura and Ben are killed in a tragic accident. In the aftermath, she leaves her city home and moves to the countryside to live with her aunt Anika, Uncle Peter, and her cousins Noah and Lily. What begins as a somber portrait of loss slowly unfolds into a tale of rediscovery, connection, and the mysterious presence of a unicorn in the nearby forest. The film opens with Violet arriving at her new home. During the car ride with her aunt, she remains completely silent, staring out the window, withdrawn and unreachable. Anika tries gently to comfort her, mentioning how Noah and Lily are excited to see her, especially Lily. But Violet gives no response. This silence becomes the defining sign of her grief. She has not spoken since the accident, not at the funeral, not during the move, not even when directly addressed. At the house, the family does their best to welcome her. Peter is warm but awkward, clearly unsure how to bridge the emotional distance. Noah offers polite sympathy. Lily, energetic and open-hearted, immediately tries to include Violet, offering to share her bedroom and even her stuffed bunnies. Violet is to share Lily's room, an arrangement Lily accepts with surprising maturity, though it is clear she is not used to sharing her space. Despite everyone's efforts, Violet remains silent and emotionally closed off. The early part of the film carefully portrays the family adjusting to this new reality. Dinner scenes highlight the tension between normal family routines and Violet's withdrawal. On her first night, she chooses to remain alone in her room rather than join them at the table. Anika explains to the younger children that Violet is scared and needs time, emphasizing empathy and patience rather than forcing her to participate. The next few days establish the rhythms of the household. There is morning chaos as Peter and Anika rush to get the children ready for school. Violet stays home while the adults work remotely. Peter attempts to engage her, gently offering breakfast, suggesting she explore the garden, even placing a whiteboard by the fridge so she can leave notes if she goes out. He worries after she wanders into the nearby woods without telling anyone, though he hides his fear behind calm reassurance. It is during these solitary walks that the story begins to shift into something more magical. Beyond the garden lies an expansive forest, quiet, ancient, and bathed in soft light. Violet feels drawn to it. In these scenes, the cinematography becomes dreamlike. She wanders deeper each day, eventually coming upon a clearing where she glimpses something extraordinary, a white luminous unicorn standing among the trees. At first, the unicorn seems almost imagined, a creature of mist and sunlight. It does not startle or run. Instead, it watches Violet calmly. The animal is majestic but gentle, with intelligent eyes that seem to understand her sorrow. Though Violet still does not speak, her expression changes for the first time. There is curiosity, then fragile wonder. She begins returning to the clearing daily. The unicorn gradually allows her to come closer. The film never fully explains whether the creature is magical in a literal sense or symbolic of Violet's healing imagination. However, subtle hints such as the way flowers bloom where it steps or how injured woodland animals seem calmed in its presence suggest something supernatural. Back at home, small changes begin to show. Violet starts coming downstairs for meals. She nods in response to questions. At one dinner, when Lily draws a unicorn and shows it to her, Violet quietly corrects her and indicates how the horn should curve. Though she still does not speak aloud, she participates. The family notices the progress. Peter and Anika exchange hopeful glances. The turning point comes when Lily follows Violet into the forest one afternoon. Curious about where her cousin keeps disappearing to, Lily trails behind and accidentally wanders too far. A sudden storm rolls in and Lily becomes lost. Violet, realizing Lily is missing, rushes into the woods to find her. In the chaos of wind and rain, she encounters the unicorn again. The creature leads her through the forest to where Lily is frightened and trapped near a fallen tree. In that urgent moment, Violet finally breaks her silence. She calls out Lily's name. It is the first word she has spoken since her parents died. The emotional power of this scene is immense. Her voice is shaky but clear, cutting through the storm. With the unicorn standing behind her like a guardian, she helps Lily back to safety. When Peter and Anika arrive, frantic from searching, they hear Violet speaking softly to Lily, comforting her. The adults are overwhelmed. The unicorn is gone by the time they reach the clearing. Whether it was ever visible to them remains unanswered. After that day, Violet's recovery accelerates. She begins speaking more at home. She shares stories about her parents, how her mother loved winter mornings, how her father would make silly pancakes shaped like animals. The family listens with tears and warmth. Grief is no longer a silent weight but something shared. The weekend starts lightly. Violet wakes early, forgetting there is no school. The household feels warmer now. She is no longer completely withdrawn. At breakfast, the cousins tease each other about pancakes versus cereal, and although Violet remains quiet at times, she is present. Noah tries awkwardly to include her, asking what music she likes, but Lily scolds him for pushing too hard. The family dynamic feels more natural, less fragile than before. Later that morning, Anika suggests baking brownies. Lily eagerly helps mix the batter, scraping the bowl and proudly stirring, while Peter jokes about making the biggest number in the world of brownies. Violet declines to help at first, but she watches, faintly smiling. The atmosphere is warm and ordinary, an important contrast to the deeper magic unfolding elsewhere. That magic reveals itself fully when Lily follows Violet into the forest. Having noticed her cousin slipping out quietly each day, Lily trails behind and finally discovers the truth. In a sunlit clearing stands the unicorn. Radiant white and calm, it is undeniably real. Lily gasps in awe, whispering excitedly as she realizes Violet has been secretly visiting it all week. Violet hushes her, protective of the creature. Lily promises to keep the unicorn a secret, sealing their shared bond. The next day, the girls plan a picnic in the forest, just the two of them. Noah feels excluded and follows them, annoyed at being left out. When he overhears them talking about the unicorn, he mocks the idea, insisting unicorns aren't real. But when the creature steps into view before his eyes, his certainty collapses. He is stunned into silence. The unicorn's presence silences their sibling rivalry instantly. Noah apologizes for being mean and promises to keep the secret too. In that quiet forest clearing, the three children unite. The mood shifts dramatically when they later hear machinery in the distance. Workers have begun cutting down trees. The children rush home in panic to find construction vehicles at the forest's edge. A businessman named Mr. Reckitt announces he has purchased the land and plans to bulldoze it to build new housing developments. The children are horrified. Violet, now fiercely protective of the place that helped her heal, stands in front of the machinery and refuses to move. Mr. Reckitt is dismissive and cold, concerned only with profit. He reveals that all permits were legally obtained. When Peter questions why the community wasn't aware, Reckitt's assistant insists proper notices were posted. Seeing the children's distress, Reckitt makes a cruel offer. If the family can buy the forest from him within 3 days at full price plus extra for his trouble, he will sell it. Otherwise, he will destroy it. Worse, he threatens to influence the council to force the family to move away if they interfere further. Though Peter and Anika are stunned by the impossible financial demand, they agree to the deal for the children's sake. At home, they admit the cost is far beyond their savings. Violet technically has an inheritance from her parents, but it cannot legally be accessed yet. The situation feels hopeless until Noah suggests organizing a fundraiser just like a school charity event. The idea ignites hope. The entire family springs into action. They decide to host a community fundraiser at the village hall to raise money to buy the forest and convert it into a protected nature reserve. Lily and Noah spread the word at school. Violet creates colorful posters and flyers. The town begins to rally behind them. Their cause gains unexpected momentum when a local journalist, Stacy Talbot from the Evening News, arrives to interview the family. She asks why the forest matters so much. Encouraged gently by Anika, Violet speaks publicly for the first time about her grief and healing. She explains that after losing her parents and moving from the city, she found magic in the forest. It became a place where she felt connected, safe, and alive again. It's not just a bunch of trees, she says. It's a whole world. Her heartfelt words air on local television, inspiring widespread support. The day of the fundraiser arrives and the village hall overflows with people. There are raffles, baked goods auctions, and donations from local businesses. Mrs. Foster, the school head teacher, opens the event with a speech praising Violet's bravery and the children's leadership. The community spirit is overwhelming. By the afternoon, Peter and Anika announce they have raised enough money to meet Reckitt's demand. The hall erupts in cheers. But Mr. Reckitt storms in furious. He reveals there was no written contract, his verbal deal was not legally binding. He refuses to sell, mocking the community's efforts and insisting he will make far more money building houses. The celebration collapses into outrage. Just as hope seems lost again, Mayor Mendez arrives. Having seen Violet's televised interview and the public support behind the cause, he announces he is terminating the development contract. He declares the forest more valuable to the town as protected land than as a construction site. The funds raised will instead be used to establish the forest as an official nature reserve owned by the community. Reckitt leaves in fury, defeated. The victory marks a new beginning. The forest is formally opened as a protected reserve with a ribbon-cutting ceremony led by Violet herself. As she cuts the ribbon, there is a sense that she has completed her emotional journey from silent grief to brave advocate. In the closing moments, Violet tells her aunt and uncle she is ready to start school with Noah and Lily. She has found stability, belonging, and purpose. The children run into the forest once more, laughing. Though the adults never say the unicorn directly, they acknowledge that whatever the children found, there must be something truly special. The film ends with the forest thriving under community care. The unicorn appears briefly in the trees, watching as Violet smiles confidently. The creature's role remains partly mysterious, perhaps magical guardian, perhaps symbol of hope, but its impact is undeniable. Through courage, unity, and belief, a grieving girl not only saved a forest but rediscovered her voice and built a future rooted in love. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.